Good evening, viewer. You're most welcome to the Nilecast on Westnile television, where we give you the daily news bulletins of the day, every day from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. My name is Okumiringa Christine. Before we dive into any of the stories, let's first have a look at the news making headlines. In the headlines tonight, 30 fully constructed lockups ready for occupation in Paida Market. One medical student arrested in Gulu City. And police arrests one robber and recovers 3 stolen motorcycles in Terego district. This and more in the Nilecast News Bulletin. In the headlines tonight, 30 fully constructed lockups ready for occupation in Paida Market. One medical student arrested in Gulu City. And police arrests one robber and recovers 3 stolen motorcycles in Terego district. This and more in the Nilecast News Bulletin. It's the 16th of May 2023 and you're most welcome to the Nilecast on Westnile television. Now let us dive into some of the stories of the evening. One arrested as police fired tear gas to disperse Gulu University private-sponsored medical students mount a peaceful demonstration protesting the new move taken by government to stop paying allowances of private medical students who are training to become specialists while serving in public hospitals over payment of arrears. Stephen Okello from Gulu reports more.
It started with a simple song as these medical students march along Dr. Kotedrosil Road before they were intercepted by the police in front of Gulu Main Market. After a small commotion between police and the medical students, one of them have been arrested and pushed under the police truck. As the remaining students were escorted back to their dormitory with tear gas. Dr. Abat Ayiga, a pre-interns medical doctor who graduated from Gulu University, urged President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who has earlier on endorsed the enhancement of scientists' salary, to intervene in this matter.
Ask and appeal, in this case, to the head of state, the fountain of honor, who in his wisdom saw it fit to even enhance the payments of scientists, including medical interns, whom he cited, and I quote in his directive, that these people do a very great job in the hospitals and they're even so busy to even have time to cook. So we need to enhance their payment from what was by then 700,000 to half of what their senior cadres earn. Those are medical officers, nurses, midwives in the healthcare system in the country. But to our dismay, on the 11th of May, the Right Honourable Prime Minister with their committee, they have come up with proposals to scrap off this allowance towards privately sponsored students and maintain that for only those interns who are paid for by the government during their medical training.
Anyama Alfred Belina, one of the private medical students, expressed his discomfort with the new policy.
We call upon deployment. The government must take the health sector very seriously. The health sector must be taken very seriously. And the government already knows that if they don't regulate entry to medical schools, it means the number of medical students will be high. And these are things which they know very well. And I'm very disappointed to say that all the private, even the private universities, are owned by these officials. And I don't know why they intentionally now want to mistreat medical students, the doctors to be. Right now, as we talk about interns, they're not students. These are doctors. These are doctors. These are doctors.
Achua River Regional Police spokesperson David Ongwamodong says police only came in to restore law and order, as the police in Gulu City had not received any formal communication from these students protesting.
In a demonstration, before you go on the street, there are procedures you have to get clearance. Okay? You have to write to various stakeholders. And then finally to the IGP, the Inspector General of Police, clearly stating your intentions to have such peaceful demonstration, and it is assessed whether that demonstration is not going to doesn't have any security threats, whether that demonstration is not going to interfere with the businesses of others, and first of all, again, where is that demonstration going to take place?
These private-sponsored medical students is joining their colleagues, the senior house officers, qualified doctors who are training to become specialists, serving in public hospitals, who are also protesting over the same issue, allowance. Stephen Okello, reporting for Westnile Television, Nilecast.
And more in our stories for the evening. The local leaders in Paida Town Council have been urged to be transparent while allocating the newly constructed lock-up shops in Paida Market. The appeal was made by the State Minister for Northern Uganda, Honorable Quilchin Grace Freedom, recently while commissioning the newly constructed lock-up shops that cost the government over 300 million shillings through the Development Initiative for Northern Uganda project. Emmanuel Agele reports more.
Paida Main Market in Zombo District is one of the 18 beneficiaries of the Good Governance Component, a support to national public financial management that is aimed at economic empowerment of women and youth. The market, that is worth 343,616,900 shillings, came at a time traders were scared for their life and property due to the dilapidated state of the market.
This market came at a time when a good number of the business community decided to come with Plan B and leave business for fear that at any time the Ramchapo market will collapse and kill them.
The market, known as the food basket of the entire northern region, attracts traders and investors as far as the Turu region in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, some parts of South Sudan, Kampala, and the northern region. Openzimungu Moses is the focal person for the project strengthening existing market infrastructure through construction of Paida Main Market.
The district received funds from UNCDF and construct Paida Market to a tune of 343,606,900 shillings. The purpose was to provide a conducive business ground for the women and youth to carry trading in agricultural products and other merchandise, leading to income improvement, hence capitalization and improving local revenue for Paida Town Council.
Joel Mundwa, the project manager at United Nations Capital Development Fund, the implementers of the project, gave their analysis, saying the market shall be in position to pay back itself in a period of 7 years.
We got additional funding. We said, okay, can we expand the low government excellence fund resources? So Zongo came in there, but the amount of resources, he gave it to us at 300 million. That market we've done is, we need about 3.5 billion, right? 3.5 billion, that's what we need. We designed, he talked of payback period. The language he used here tells you we've already done the professional work that private sector does, that UDB demands. We've already done for this market. They've done the designs, they have calculated all the financial, they have developed the financial model and the business model. So this market can pay itself back in 7 years. We calculated to be safe in 10 years. We went ahead to engage. Can we use private sector financing? Because we know the potential. So what did we do? We engaged. Actually, I went to DFCU, we went to a number of financiers. DFCU said, Joel, can you work with your journey with the Minister of Finance?
The market being the highest contributors of local revenue, the leaders are optimistic that having the market constructed, the tax base will definitely increase.
So at least when you move in front of by the market, you think it is the beautiful market as you can view it from a distance. But when you go behind and you see the other side, you think it is not part of what you saw this side. But I'm privileged that even by the town council themselves, with their local revenue, with their own local revenue, they managed to construct 4 phases of 8 units with their own local revenue. I've seen we are all moving on the same line and having passion for the district.
There is a big connection with what we saw in Tomasa County with what we are going to see now. Because we are fighting for our products to get value addition. And if there's that additional value, these products will have to end up in the market. And when these products end up in the market, that is where we are going to get the revenue. As we are developing, as we are removing our people from poverty, as they are producing for the market. So what we are looking at now is that we move out of this primary production and we move to another level.
The State Minister for Northern Uganda, Honorable Quintin Grace Freedom, has pledged to work with the leaders as the market strategy and market structure is very vital.
And this is a critical area. If we are going to develop it, I don't know whether it is how many phases we should, to that standard, to that modern standard, and to that durable standard. We are not going to build something which is not going to be durable, which is not going to be sustainable. We have to put something concrete to fit the face of this region and of this town. The market strategy and the market structure is still very, very important in this. Because we are going to produce even in bulk, and we're going to process. Are we only going to sell raw materials to people all the time and food to other regions all the time without getting value for money? Because when you sell raw materials, you don't get value. But when you process, you can now get something.
However, the minister cautioned the leaders to be very transparent when allocating the lockups to avoid other unnecessary drama seen in other places.
The allocation of the 30 lockups, I don't know to whom you will allocate it, because this is a problem. We have seen markets. The last one was what you saw in Arua. The leaders pick it for themselves. They forget who was there on that site. And then when they pick it, they charge a different rate compared to what was planned. So here, be careful. We would like to see those women you have stated, those youth you have stated, who are already there. They were already counted there. And I think all of us are not part of that. I want that a very transparent management.
Paida Market, established way back in the 1950s by then a colonial era, has currently 507 vendors, of which 77% being women, and a current revenue collection of 200 million per annum, which is projected to increase to 272 million per annum after development, with over 500 increase in vendors. The market and its associate activities, which is the highest contributors of the local revenue to Paida Town Council, is funded by the European Union through the Development Initiative for Northern Uganda and implemented by the United Nations Capital Development Fund. Emmanuel Agele, Westnile TV Nilecast.
More in our stories for the evening. Police in Tergo district have arrested one robber in connection to the robbery of 3 motorcycles from a hardware store in Kubala Trading Center, Tergo district, on the 14th of May 2023 at 3:40 a.m. in the night. The Tergo police arrested one of the robbers and recovered 3 motorcycles. The Westnile police spokesperson gave a police statement. Let's have more on the story.
The territorial police of Terego district have arrested one robber. They were robbed on 14th May 2023 at about 3:30 a.m. in the night from a hardware shop in Kubala Trading Center. It was established that two of the motorcycles, that is, one with the number UFW 394C, red in color, a boxer, and UFF 804D, also red in color, which had been parked at the hardware shop, were robbed by the four robbers. According to the information, the third motorcycle which was recovered was the one which was used by these robbers to go and effect their mission of robbery at the hardware shop in Kubala, in Terego district. So 4 of the robbers were dressed in civilian clothes and armed with an AK-47. They attacked and shot 2 bullets to the watchman who was guarding the hardware shop. However, the watchman escaped unhurt, and immediately police rushed to the scene. Upon getting the information, they cordoned off the area, and then they started making inquiries so as to net the 4 robbers who allegedly escaped following Marata direction. So as police officers, as our officers in Terego district started following this matter, they found that another motorcycle with the registration number UFW 394C that was robbed by the robbers had a tracking device, which device was helpful in pursuing the assailants, in pursuing the robbers. So accordingly, the motorcycle and one suspect who was riding it were intercepted by our officers at Irobu Primary School in Kijomoro Sub-County, Marata District, along the highway to Arua. It was along Arua Koboko Highway while heading to Arua City. Then the second motorcycle with registration number UFF 804B was also recovered, abandoned at the Chikidi Swamp near Ofude Hills in Ofude Parish, Tara Sub-County in Marata District, near the border with Terego. The third motorcycle with registration number UFT 937P Asenke, red in color, possessing a Syring rifle, green in color, believed to have been used for transporting the robbers, was also recovered in the same swamp, abandoned. So all these things were documented by our scene of crime officer from Terego, and 2 cartridges of bullets were recovered. All the 3 motorcycles are currently parked at Terego Central Police Station in Omugo, and 1 suspect who was arrested with the motorcycle is also detained at Terego CPS. Investigations are ongoing so as to net the rest of the suspects, and then appropriate action will be taken. And this operation was so much successful. with the help of a team of officers, including the flying squad unit that went into action and helped in arresting one of the suspects. So others are still being followed. At the rightful time, they will be arrested and brought before the law. So we really appreciate the police of Perego and those of the flying squad. We appreciate them for their quick and swift action in ensuring that these people were netted and the exhibit recovered. Of course, the AK-47 has not been netted yet, but it will be got. Even the cartridges have already been collected. They will be forwarded to our ballistic experts at Department of Forensic Sciences, Police Headquarters, where they will be able to establish the kind of guns which were used for firing these bullets, whether they were for police, either for private security guards, for the UPDF, army, or whichever organization, because all our weapons were fingerprinted and they have their records. And if it will not be there, it means maybe it is a weapon which came from across the border. So all these will help us in carrying out investigations so as to curb the crime in our region.
And more in our stories for the evening. Different stakeholders in Moyo district have raised concerns about the electoral reforms ahead of the next general elections. The stakeholders raised the concerns during a meeting that was organized by the Westnile Civil Society Network at Moyo People's Hall. The meeting attracted people from the different sectors including the religious, cultural leaders, press, political leaders, among others. Let's have more on that story.
That territorial.
Fenitwive, Chief Executive Officer, Westnile Region Civil Society Network, says the purpose of the meeting is to allow the members of the society raise their concerns on the electoral reforms so that they can be corrected before the next general elections.
We have engaged some few members of parliament in this regard, even from Westnile Region. But again, as citizens, we need to come up with our issues, and then we need to know what are the issues that we are thinking about, because always when election period comes, there are things that we feel needs to be corrected. For example, maybe the police have their issue guiding our elections, and security forces generally, because elections are things to do with emotions. Everyone wants to win. It is a must. It is either a win or something similar. Now, it gives a lot of work for security people to always say, no, please, let's try to balance our emotions here and there. So a lot of things happen. Now, during election time,
Williams Anyama, LC5 chairperson, Moyo district, says he supports the restoration of term limits.
I support that the term limit should be restored, because the term limit was initially there, then it was removed, and its removal has taken time now. The advantages and the disadvantages. So in my view, the term limit should be restored, and this will be two terms. But my view is this: one, term limit should be for all elective public offices. The problem we have is we are looking at the term limit only at the presidential level. So if we have term limit for office of the president, there should be term limit for LC5, there should be term limit for member of parliament, there should be term limit for LC3 chairman, term limit for councillors.
The Forum for Democratic Change chairperson, Moyo district, Igapoli, says the police and the army should not be involved in elections.
Normally it was okay during 1911. 2011 we okay. 2011 you get agent and police officer there. People are just lining. They are coming slowly. They vote. Then they go. Nothing happened. But this time, you find police officer without uniform, gun is on the waist. You got a soldier there moving. How is it? Is it moving well? Do you know my boss? So what is that? That is the indication, the real indication you are not supposed to appear at the voting.
Meanwhile, the L33 person, Moyo Town Council Chandiga Caesar, stresses that there is need for Uganda to have an independent electoral commission not being appointed by the president.
For us to have unity, as the constitution has envisioned, we must have an independent electoral commission. Kenya attempted in the region, attempted it, but you saw what is now taking Kenya. There is no order in Kenya actually. You cannot distinguish between the president and the opposition. Virtually Raila Odinga can do anything in Kenya. You cannot even mention him to be arrested in person and should exercise his mandate within the constitution. I don't agree with the president nominating individuals to be electoral commission members. I don't agree. Under normal circumstances, it cannot. Because those, I want to use footballing analogy. I cannot be a player and we decide who should be the referee.
However, the Deputy Resident District Commissioner Moyo District says most politicians don't educate their supporters about the importance of having national IDs, forgetting that it is prerequisite for voting.
The citizen, their role is just to carry the ID. Really, it is free. They know it is very important if you're going to vote. So, that 8 million, if you broke it down properly, you realize that quite a good number did not have national IDs, which is a prerequisite for voting. And of course, Chairman, after the rally, he has seen a very big crowd. Cherecheria was full. He goes and sits at the polling station, and that is because me as a person who was campaigning, all I labored for was the crowd of that day.
Dennis Oringi, Dominic Okomo, Westnile TV, Nilecast.
And with that story, we have come to the end of the Nilecast on Westnile Television. Thank you for being with us from the beginning of the Nilecast to the end of the Nilecast, only on Westnile Television. Please stay tuned to the rest of the subsequent programs that may follow. My name is Okumringa Christine. Have a good evening.